I remember speaking to a woman who told me she had a whole system for making sure she never locked herself out of her apartment. Not because she was unusually forgetful, because there was nobody she trusted with a spare key. That detail stayed with me because it says so much without announcing itself as tragic. A spare key is one of those small things people don't think about when they have a functioning support system. You give one to your mother, your sister, a close friend, a neighbor you trust, somebody. It's not dramatic, it's not emotional, it's just practical until you don't have that person. Then the spare key becomes something else. It becomes evidence of how much you have to plan around not being able to rely on anyone in the ordinary ways. This is the estrangementproject.com. Today we're talking about friendship after 30, especially when family is no longer the place you can go. Because there's a specific kind of loneliness that happens when estrangement removes family support, and friendship is also harder to access than it used to be. That part doesn't get talked about enough. People will tell you to build community, they'll tell you chosen family matters, they'll tell you support can come from other places. And that's true. But they usually leave out the part where everyone's tired, everyone's busy, everyone's managing too much, and adult friendship starts requiring the kind of coordination people used to reserve for weddings, medical procedures, and court dates. So you're not just trying to make friends, you're trying to find somewhere to put the part of your life that no longer fits inside your family. And after 30, that gets complicated. Estrangement isn't only about the big emotional rupture, it's also about the ordinary backup systems that disappear. The spare key, the emergency contact, the ride home after a procedure, the person who'll drive you to the airport, the person who'd notice if something seemed off, the person you can call without performing gratitude like you just received a kidney. These are the things people take for granted when they have a family system or even a dependable friendship system sitting quietly in the background of their life. Most people don't walk around thinking, who would pick me up after anesthesia, until they have to. And if you don't have someone, the whole situation changes. Now you're not only thinking about the procedure, you're thinking about transportation, you're thinking about whether the office will release you, you're thinking about whether you can ask someone, you're thinking about whether asking will cost you emotionally, you're thinking about paying for a chauffeur because the practical solution feels easier than the relational one. And the airport ride is another one. For some people, asking for a ride to the airport is normal, annoying maybe, inconvenient, sure, but normal. For you, it might become a calculation. Who can I ask? Will they make it weird? Will I owe them too much afterward? Will I feel embarrassed for needing something this basic? Will I end up deciding it's easier to just pay somebody? That's the part of the estrangement people miss. They think about the big events, holidays, weddings, illness, funerals, but a lot of estrangement lives in smaller places. Who has your spare key? Who can pick you up after anesthesia? Who'll drive you to the airport without turning it into a performance? Who would notice if something happened? Who can you call without feeling like you're asking too much? So when we talk about friendship after 30, especially for women who are estranged from family, we're not just talking about brunch plans getting harder to schedule. We're talking about what happens when the ordinary backup systems of life are missing, and then friendship gets busy too. At some point after 30, making plans with a friend starts feeling like administrative work. You need a date that works for both of you, which is already a problem. Someone's kid has practice, someone's working late, someone's exhausted, someone saw your text 3 days ago, answered it in their head, and moved on like that counts. It doesn't count. But now enough time has passed that responding feels like it requires a whole explanation. So nobody responds. The conversation sits there, the friendship sits there, and nobody's angry exactly, but something still gets lost. This isn't always a character flaw. It's what happens when the same small amount of energy has to cover work, bills, kids, aging parents, health issues, appointments, forms, and whatever crisis showed up that week. Friendship gets pushed to the end of the list because friendship usually doesn't send a late notice. It doesn't cry in the hallway. It doesn't threaten your job. It just slowly becomes harder to reach. You can still care about people. They can still care about you. But caring doesn't make anybody more available. And friendship needs availability, Not constant access, not daily contact, but some kind of reachable place. That's where estrangement changes the weight of the whole thing. Because when you're estranged from family, friendship isn't just friendship anymore. It can start carrying too much. A friend canceling plans might feel bigger than it should. A slow reply might hit harder than it used to. A group chat going quiet might start touching something old. Not because you're dramatic, because there's less underneath you. When family is solid, a delayed text can just be a delayed text. When family is fractured, that same silence can feel like the floor moving. Estrangement removes something people assume will always exist: a mother, a father, a sibling, a child, some version of a family system. Even when that system was painful or unreliable, its absence still leaves a gap. And that gap doesn't always announce itself. It shows up when you're sick and nobody knows. It shows up when a holiday's coming and people are casually talking about where they're going. It shows up when something good happens and you realize there are fewer people to tell. It shows up when friendship gets busy, because now busy feels like absence. That's the part people miss. When you have a secure family system, adult friendship can loosen a little and still feel okay. People drift, people come back, everybody's overwhelmed. You understand it. But when family is already fractured, every other relationship can start to feel like it has to prove something. Is this person safe? Are they still there? Do they actually know me? Can I tell the truth here, or do I need to make the story smaller? And here's where it gets complicated. Estrangement can make you need friendship more. It can also make friendship harder to trust, because if you've already had to accept that family doesn't automatically mean safety, then you start seeing other relationships differently too. You stop assuming history is enough. You stop assuming affection is enough. You stop assuming someone being around means they're actually available. And that can make friendship feel strange, not because you stopped wanting connection, but because you started needing connection to be real. After a while, the question isn't only, can this person help me? It becomes, what will it cost me to ask? That's a very different way to move through relationships, because accepting help requires trust. It requires believing that someone won't punish you for needing them. They won't make you feel small. They won't turn the favor into a performance. They won't disappear afterward and leave you feeling foolish for asking in the first place. So you start calculating. You become careful. You plan around absence. You keep track of who feels safe, who feels unpredictable, who likes being needed, who resents being needed, and who makes a small favor feel like you entered a contract you didn't read. That's not paranoia. That's pattern recognition. Most of the time, you make the story smaller. You don't want to bring up your mother again. You don't want to explain why holidays are strange. You don't want to say too much and watch someone's face change. You don't want a regular conversation to become a small group exercise in discomfort. So you edit. You say it's complicated. You say we don't really talk. You say it's fine. You make a joke because a joke is faster than the full explanation and requires less from everyone in the room. That's not dishonesty. That's management. And it's pretty rational, because people do get strange around estrangement. They think they understand it until you stop summarizing it for them. You say you miss someone and still don't want contact, and suddenly people start looking for the correct response. Have you prayed about it? Have you tried forgiveness? Maybe she did the best she could. Life is short. Yes, life is short. That's part of why the situation is hard. Friendship after estrangement requires something more specific than friendliness. It requires someone who can hear something unresolved without trying to resolve it. Not someone perfect, not someone who always knows what to say, just someone who doesn't need your story to become simpler before they can stay present with you. That's a specific thing to need, and it's not as common as people pretend. This is one reason friendships can get weird after 30. It's not only the schedules, it's not only the kids or the jobs or the exhaustion. It's that by this point, a lot of women have lived enough life to know what certain relationships cost them. And after estrangement, you may stop tolerating things you used to explain away. You may become less available for one-sided friendships. You may stop chasing people who only like you when you're useful, easy, funny, or quiet. You may notice that some friendships work better when you didn't need anything. And that can be a hard thing to see because some people are fine with your strength, they're less comfortable with your need. They liked you when you were the stable one, the listener, the one who could handle it, the one who didn't make a big deal out of anything. Then estrangement brings up grief, anger, confusion, relief, guilt, and all these things that don't fit neatly into a brunch conversation. And suddenly you can see who can sit with complexity and who needs you to go back to being convenient. That doesn't mean everyone who fades away is bad. Some people are overwhelmed too. Some people are lonely too. Some people are sitting in their own house wondering why nobody has checked on them, while you're sitting in yours wondering the same thing. That's irritating and useful to know, because sometimes the distance isn't rejection. Sometimes it's two people drowning quietly in separate places, both assuming the other person has more support than they actually do. But sometimes it is rejection. Sometimes it's avoidance. Sometimes it's the truth coming into focus. The hard part is learning the difference without making every friendship audition for your survival. After 30, the circle usually gets smaller. For estranged women, it can get smaller in a sharper way because you're not only losing casual access to people, you're also losing the fantasy that closeness is guaranteed because there's history. Family teaches that lesson first, friendship confirms it. Time doesn't equal safety, shared history doesn't equal intimacy, access doesn't equal care, and once you know that, you can't unknow it. So the standard changes. You might stop wanting a lot of people around. You might start wanting one or two people who actually know what's happening, people who don't need every detail from the beginning, people who can hear something difficult without turning it into a lesson, a sermon, or a forgiveness campaign. That's not isolation. That's discernment, and discernment can look lonely before it starts to feel peaceful. This is also why people use the phrase chosen family too casually. I understand the idea. I understand why people say it, but chosen family isn't a slogan. It's not a Pinterest quote. It's not something you create by being nice enough or healed enough or open enough. Chosen family is built through time, consistency, inconvenience, repair, and the boring proof that someone can be trusted with the small things. Before someone can become chosen family, they usually have to become spare key safe. And that takes time. It takes availability. It takes emotional steadiness. It takes people who can handle the parts of your life that don't resolve cleanly. It takes someone who can be present without turning your pain into their lesson, their discomfort, or their forgiveness campaign. At this stage of adulthood, that's harder to find than most people want to admit. Friendships after 30 don't always disappear. A lot of them get sorted. Some fall away because nobody had enough energy to maintain them. Some become occasional and low pressure, and that's all they need to be. Some deepen because the truth finally has somewhere to go. And some reveal that they were built around a version of you who no longer exists. None of that means you fail at friendship. It means your life changed, your needs change, your tolerance change, and if you're estranged from family, the stakes of connection probably change too. So if your friendships feel strange right now, there might not be one dramatic reason. It might be the logistics. It might be the exhaustion. It might be estrangement pressing on a place that was already thin. It might be that you're no longer willing to shrink yourself just to keep a connection comfortable. That's painful, but it's also information. Maybe the question isn't only, why did my friendships get weird after 30? Maybe the question is, who feels safe enough to hold the spare key? Not just to your apartment, to the parts of your life that don't have an easy explanation. If you're estranged from family, what's one small practical thing people don't realize becomes harder? Not the big emotional things, the ordinary things, the spare key things. This is the estrangementproject.com.